Right, so the lad with a dark past, a story that begins in shadows and whispers. Ronald Doe, quiet lad he was, kept to himself always seemed to be lost in his own world, a world filled with unseen fears and silent screams. Haunted he was by things he couldn't escape, shadows that danced in the corners of his mind and whispers that echoed in the silence. His family, new to the village, they were hoping for a fresh start, a place where they could leave the past behind and build new memories, a chance to mend, to heal the wounds that time had not yet managed to close. Moved into a big old house they did, a house with a history, a soul of its own, filled with secrets and stories untold. Place creaked and groaned with stories best left forgotten. Ronald felt it mind, the weight of the past pressing down on him, a presence, watching, waiting, always there in the background, a silent observer of their every move. Ronald knew it was there, even if no one else did. When the terror started, it was a night like any other. The air was thick with anticipation, and the shadows seemed to dance with a life of their own. It all began innocent enough. Just a group of friends looking for a thrill, a bit of fun to pass the time. They had no idea what they were about to unleash. A Ouija board, see? Teenage curiosity and all that. They thought it was just a game, a harmless way to spook each other. The pointer moved, slow at first, then faster and faster. It was as if an unseen force had taken control, guiding their hands with an eerie precision, like it had gone daft. Ronald's fingers, they trembled. His heart pounded in his chest, each beat louder than the last. Fear, it gripped his heart. It did. Room went cold. The temperature dropped so suddenly it was like stepping into a freezer. A voice, raspy it was, whispered, "Ronald." It was a sound that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere all at once. He never forgot that voice, mind you. It haunted him, a constant reminder of that night. Slithered into his dreams, it did. Every night, the same nightmare, the same voice, the same terror. It was as if the darkness had claimed a part of his soul. House of Shadows and Whispers, it became. Once a place of laughter and joy, it now stood as a monument to fear and mystery. The walls seemed to breathe, the air thick with an unseen presence. The house, it came alive. Every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of the lights felt like a heartbeat. It was as if the house had a soul, a dark and twisted soul. Things moved on their own. Doors slammed shut. The furniture would rearrange itself, and objects would disappear, only to reappear in the most unexpected places. Whispers, they followed Ronald everywhere. He saw things too, shadowy figures. They would appear in the corners of his vision, vanishing the moment he tried to focus on them, eyes glowing in the dark. They watched him, unblinking from the shadows. He could feel their gaze, cold and piercing, as if they were looking into his very soul. Scratches appeared on his arms, they did. Thin red lines that stung and burned, as if marked by invisible claws. No matter how much he tried to explain, no one believed him. Tried to tell his family he did. He pleaded with them, his voice trembling with fear. He described the whispers, the shadows, the eyes that watched him. But they didn't believe him. They dismissed his fears as mere imagination, a child's overactive mind. "It's just the house settling," they said. "There's nothing to be afraid of." "Just your imagination, lad," they said. But Ronald knew. He knew that something was terribly wrong. The house was alive, and it was hungry. Something wicked had got a hold of him. It whispered to him in the dead of night, promising secrets and power, but Ronald knew better. He knew that the house wanted more than just his fear. It wanted his soul. The exorcism, a fight for Ronald's very soul. Priest arrived, he did, with determination. Grim look in his eyes, unwavering resolve. Air crackled, it did, like static. The exorcism began ominously. Ronald thrashed and screamed, he did, in sheer agony. Voice all guttural and inhuman echoing through the room. Priest chanted, Latin words echoing. Room pulsed, it did, with energy. A right battle raged, good against evil, light against dark forces. Hours went by, felt like forever they did. The struggle was intense. The quiet after it was over. The thing vanished. Ronald lay still, drained he was, eyes vacant. House fell silent. Air felt clean, like new, but the scars, they remained. Etched into Ronald's soul they were. He'd never be the same, not after that. House stood there, silent, a reminder of the terrifying power of the unknown.